We begin the program with our featured author. It's my privilege to introduce Lizzy McNett, our featured author tonight. Lizzy is a literary agent, an Amazon International best-selling author, publisher, marketer, and graphic designer with 18 years of experience. She has a BA in Fine Arts and is the founder and owner of writers publishing house Ghostwriter Media, a solid publishing firm with more than a decade of assisting clients, business owners with their publishing needs. She understands the importance of exemplary customer service. It's the basis for any successful business and believes everyone should profit from their passion. I'd like you to give Lizzy a warm welcome tonight.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so this is all new to me, so bear with me. My book tonight is The Bronco Busters. This is my third rewrite, so see what you guys think. I'm going to read from chapter 1 for you, and then I have a little bit of another chapter, because I don't think chapter 1 will go too short. So chapter 1, Unyielding Partner. Burial is final. As I rode home that evening, loneliness settled. I suddenly found myself alone in the world. The Spinhorny family tree would die with me. The universe stopped for me that day. Life is an unyielding partner. It never pauses for our existence, only passes without hesitation. I had not fully grasped my father's untimely demise. However, the loss alerted me to a new appreciation of what he faced when Mom died. She suffered from the fever for many weeks. They were grade school sweethearts, and love such as theirs never fades. Dad missed her beyond description. However, the details of her death remained a mystery. I asked numerous times, but he refused to discuss the details. By the time I reached home, the murky shadows of dusk vanished. Only the shimmering light from the starlight sky illuminated my path to the barn. I had not entered since Dad died. When the images of that day flashed before my eyes relentlessly, my steps halted. My knees buckled. A nauseous flood of emotions drenched my body. I bent over, grabbing my thighs to balance myself. A tightness in my chest constricted my breasts. The sweat dripped down the sides of my face across the tip of my nose. I tried to lift my arms and wipe my cheek, but almost fell. Breathe, I stuttered. In a few minutes of contemplation, my fears eased, and I was able to open the barn door and grab the lantern. It was hard to see the matchbox, but I managed to pull one out and strike it on the barn wall. My hands were still shaking. I fought to remain focused on getting my horse unsaddled, but my brain wasn't cooperating. The walls were closing in once more, and nausea returned. I leaned forward, grabbing the stall post with one hand to balance while pulling the saddle off with the other. It fell just below his front hoof. He jumped sideways, stomping on my foot, startled by my uneasiness. Damn it. It was my fault. No sense in yelling at him. He'd grown tired of my lollygagging to get him unsaddled for the night. Walter had filled his feed bag, and he fussed to get his dinner. It took a few minutes to gather my strength, but I managed to reach the door. As I grasped the lantern, it reflected across the barn. A sudden rush of images knocked me to my knees, and I sat on the ground sobbing like a baby. All my attempts to stop the senseless emotions failed, came back in one fell swoop. Dad, I screamed. His lifeless body lay in the middle of the barn. No, you can't be gone. Please, don't go. Walter. He grabbed my arm. Matthew, it was an accident. Why? What the hell happened? I looked up and all I saw were horns charging across the barn. I had no choice but to let go of the calf. I didn't know she hit Dad. She didn't hit him. Her horn caught his shirt when he tried to pull me out of harm's way. My foot caught under the feeder. When Molly felt the tension release, she bolted for her calf. She was protecting her young'un. When his shirt tore, he fell in front of her and she trampled him, Matthew. His words trailed, I'm sorry. The gut-wrenching words ripped through my chest, leaving it in shreds. I know. It was no one's fault. Walter stuttered to maintain his own emotions. As reality of this situation hit us both, all sense of surroundings vanished. As we froze in the moment of heartache, the cowhands fought to get the stock under control before any more damage occurred. Angst filled my soul. I couldn't move, stand, or speak. How could this be happening again? First Mom and now Dad. They were all gone. I am alone. I felt the rush. I felt the pain flood my body. Like a raging forest fire, the embers settled deep in my soul, smoldering beyond comprehension. As my mind raced trying to find some solution, reality rose from the depths of my agony, forcing the truth I didn't want to face. I was alone with no knowledge of how to run one of the largest cattle ranches in the northern Arizona high desert. Fast forward to the next section. It was difficult to focus in the dim light of the room, but something caught my eye. Instinct urged me to grab the lamp, but that meant shifting my eyes. How could I reach for the lantern and expose the scene at the same time? As exhaustion settled in fast, I backed slowly to the dresser and grabbed the lantern. I was eager to uncover the mystery. I swiftly scanned the bed, working my way across the blankets to the headboard when the suspicion ended. Feverishly, I scanned the sheets, and then a glimpse of something gray lurking under the pillow caught my eye. His beady little eyes stared intently at me. He was taunting me, knowing full well he had the upper hand. The battle was set, his offense against my defense. We gazed at one another, daring the opponent to make the first move. Steady, the plan commenced. In a second, the production began. Children would tell the tale throughout eternity. My pursuit drove an end to this conflict. Sleep sauntered, moseying from the scene. Somehow this pest was leaving my bed. I raised my arm, leaning over the mattress. A mouse would not delay my slumber any longer. Intent on the conclusion, I didn't notice my opponent had snagged the opportunity. Gray fur sailed across the gap. He hit my chest and slid to the lower reaches of my long johns, and distress welled inside immediately. The frantic fussing of a fool, I danced around anxious to rid of him. Distracted by the experience, I was ignorant of the plotting scheme outside the house. While our affair lingered, the memoirs were being written. My rantings extended as I continued to shake and jerk, trying to release the monster from my trousers. As I gasped for air, he finally broke free. The vermin scurried to a small hole in the corner of the room. I'd been duped by a mouse. My plan of ending the situation quickly and peacefully was obliterated. A mouse left me panting. Unbelievable. I scanned the room for other inhabitants, but the half-pulled shade diverted my attention. Still under the pretext my escapades weren't exposed, I sauntered to the window to see if my rantings had caught my attention from the cowhands. It would give me a sense of the situation. I peered through the pane, looking for any gawkers. All hope was squashed when I saw the looky-loos rolling on the ground in laughter. However, the commotion died abruptly when I exited the house. Perched on the porch in my long johns and stocking feet, the bystanders slunk back to their beds for the night. The acknowledgement of my actions was hilarious, and if the roles were reversed, my eyes would have peered through the window pane just the same. The contemplation of revenge seized my attention for the moment. Any time wasted explaining my predicament was moot, although if I succeeded, it would end the barrage of ridicule that would chase me to my grave. It became clear that sweeping the room was the best course of action. The only concern remaining, would the rodent seek revenge during my unconscious state of slumber? As I paced too slow, my heart rate, sheer exhaustion came over me. The choice of staying awake vanished, and I grabbed the bedroll next to the front door and crawled in. In seconds, all went silent. The next morning, Stu had a firm grasp of the bell handle, and I nearly jumped out of my skin. The clanging splintered my head. Nevertheless, I realized that meant a hot cup of coffee with my name was waiting for me. I could taste the mouth-watering delight warming my veins. But my thoughts paused when someone knocked. "Matthew, are you awake?" "It's me, Rusty," he stated in an uncertain voice. My motives, needless to say, remained a mystery, but the perceived night's incidents left Rusty suspicious. "Yep, come on in, what do you need?" I responded. The jovial tension tickled my fancy when he entered. Matthew, the horses are fed. Do you want to doctor them this morning?" I sat static in my chair, observing him quiver with anticipation. He continued to shudder as he examined my facial expression. Then finally it poured out. Matthew, I'll never laugh again. My sides still ache. Just please say something," he pleaded. I was speechless. Laughter expelled from every fiber of my core. Rusty withstood the torment longer than expected. His patience extended my gawping. Nodding yes was the only form of dialogue I could convey. He hurried out the door in haste. As he hurried out the door in haste, it encouraged my laughter. My ribs ached and I flailed about from hysterics. All this anxiety over the previous events made my torment come to life.
Stephen?